Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tirabanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Banachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Brajajanaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tirabanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangayate Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Iswaram. Hare Krishna. So welcome all wonderful devotees, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis here for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. And today we are here to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Sloka number 48. Same sloka is there. Nātyantikam vigaṇayanty te prasādam kimv arpita-bhayaṁ bhruva unnayais ye aṅga tvad-aṅghri-śaraṇā bhavataḥ kathāyāḥ kīrtanya-tīrtha-yaśasaḥ kuśalā rasa-jñāḥ nātyantikaṁ vigaṇayanty prasādaṁ kimv arpita-bhayaṁ bhruva unnayais aṅga tvad-aṅghri-śaraṇā bhavatāḥ kathāyāḥ kīrtanya-tīrtha-yaśasaḥ kuśalā rasa-jñāḥ nātyantikaṁ vigaṇayanty prasādam kimv arpita-bhayaṁ bhruva unnayais aṅga tvad-aṅghri-śaraṇā bhavatāḥ kathāyāḥ kīrtanya-tīrtha-yaśasaḥ kuśalā rasa-jñāḥ nātyantikaṁ vigaṇayanty prasādam bhavatāḥ kathāyāḥ kuśalā rasa-jñāḥ nātyantikaṁ vigaṇayanty prasādam kimv arpita-bhayaṁ bhruva unnayaste ye aṅga tvad-aṅghri-śaraṇā bhavataḥ kathāyāḥ kīrtanya-tīrtha-yaśasaḥ kuśalā rasa-jñāḥ nātyantikaṁ vigaṇayanty pite prasādam kimv arpita-bhayaṁ bhruva unnayaste ye aṅga tvad-aṅghri-śaraṇā bhavatāḥ kathāyāḥ kīrtanya-tīrtha-yaśasaḥ kuśalā rasa-jñāḥ. Vaishnavis, what meaning? Na, not. Ātyantikam, liberation. Vigaṇayanti, care for. Api, even. Te, those. Prasādam, benedictions. Kimv, what to speak. Anyad, other material happinesses. Arpita, given. Bhayam, fearfulness. Bhruvaḥ, of the eyebrows. Unnayaiḥ, by the raising. Te, your. Ye, those devotees. Aṅga, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tvat, your. Aṅghri, lotus feet. Śaraṇā, who have taken shelter. Bhavatāḥ, your. Kathāyāḥ, narrations. Kīrtanya, word chanting. Tīrtha, pure. Yaśasaḥ, glories. Kuśalā, very expert. Rasa-jñāḥ, knowers of the mellows or humors. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are, engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benedictions, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom. Purport. The transcendental bliss enjoyed by the devotees of the Lord is completely different from the material happiness enjoyed by less intelligent persons. The less intelligent persons in the material world are engaged by the four principles of benediction called dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Generally, they prefer to take a religious life to achieve some material benediction, the purpose of which is to satisfy the senses. When, by that process, they become confused or frustrated in fulfilling the maximum amount of sense enjoyment, they try to become one with the Supreme, which is, according to their conception, mukti or liberation. There are 5 kinds of liberation, the least important of which is called sayujya, to become one with the Supreme. Devotees don't care for such liberation because they are actually intelligent, nor are they inclined to accept any of the other 4 kinds of liberation, namely, to live on the same planet as the Lord, to live with Him side by side as an associate, to have the same opulence, and to attain the same bodily features. They are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord and His auspicious activities. Pure devotional service is Shravanam Kirtanam. Pure devotees who take transcendental pleasure in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord do not care for any kind of liberation, even if they are offered the 5 liberations. They refuse to accept them, as stated in the Bhagavatam in 3rd canto. Materialistic persons aspire for the sense enjoyment of heavenly pleasure in the heavenly kingdom, but devotees reject such material pleasures at once. The devotee does not even care for the post of Indra. A devotee knows that any pleasurable material position is subject to be annihilated at a certain point. Even if one reaches the post of Indra, Chandra or any other demigod, he must be dissolved at a certain stage. A devotee is never interested in such temporary pleasure. From Vedic scriptures, it is understood that sometimes even Brahma and Indra fall down. But a devotee in the transcendental abode of the Lord never falls. This transcendental stage of life in which one feels transcendental pleasure in hearing the Lord's pastimes is also recommended by Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya was talking with Ramananda Rai, there were varieties of suggestions offered by Ramananda regarding spiritual realization. But Lord Chaitanya rejected all but one. That one should hear the glories of the Lord in association with pure devotees. That is acceptable. For everyone, especially in this age, one should engage himself in hearing from pure devotees about the activities of the Lord. That is considered the supreme benediction for mankind. Hare Krishna. Om ajnanatimidandhasya jnananjanasalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Guruve namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadāmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurau Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guron Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So before I speak anything, I like to beg for the mercy, blessings from all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here, so that I could speak something worthy for the transcendental pleasure of the Lord and pleasure of all of you wonderful Vaishnavas. So here we see the end section, the closing section of this chapter, description of kingdom of God, where Chatus Kumaras are glorifying the Lord. Kumara, all of them are glorifying. And we know the storyline, had been seeing that how these 4 Kumaras, they happened to visit Vaikuntha and they had some conflict with the guards there, Jai Vijay, and the successful conflict resolution was made by Narayana himself coming out from his throne along with Mother Lakshmi, and everything was getting settled up. So now Chatus Kumaras are glorifying the Supreme Lord here, and they are saying, Na ātyantikam vigaṇayanty apite prasādam. That, O Lord, the people those who has got mercy of yours, they really do not consider or they do not count vigaṇayanty. They do not count what? What do they not count? anyad arpita-bhayaṁ bhruva unnayais. They do not count any type of material pleasure, material happiness, ananda, or even they do not care for mukti. Right? So, for those who has got your real mercy, the real ananda of hearing and glorifying you in the association of devotees. So, there are different varieties of happiness, pleasure available in this world. So, in this world means altogether spiritual world and material world. So, Srila Rupa Goswami tells that there are three kinds of pleasure available. One is Visayir Sukh, the pleasure coming from material senses when they come across sense objects. Visayir Sukh. Another way also is called Jara Anand, right? So that is very readily available in this world. So another type of Sukha is also called Brahmanand. The pleasure or ananda of merging into Brahma Jyoti. And the third one is called Sevanand, means pleasure derived from serving the Supreme Lord. So in today's discussion, we would like to discuss some little bit of study, comparative study of this all different types of anandas, different types of pleasure. And also we see that how Sevanand trivializes every type of pleasure. And how great stalwarts Brahmanandis also have accepted the pleasure of bhakti, the Sevanand. So, and at the end, how to associate with the devotees and do Shravanam and Kirtanam to release that ananda of Shravanam and Kirtan that we are going to discuss. So, Visayir Ananda means the pleasure coming out from the senses when it comes to contact with sense objects. So, there are four attributes so far I thought about. The first attribute of Visayir Ananda is it's very, very shallow. The Visayir Ananda means Ananda, we won't say Ananda, we say Sukh, right? Sukh. Indriya Sukh, right? So when senses they come in contact with sense objects, so then it creates some sukh, right? But how much quantity sukh? How much quantity? Very small quantity, right? Very, very small. Skin deep sukh, skin deep happiness, shallow sukh. Sukh is there. Vidyapati sings that the sukh of this material world is just like very, very small. Just like one drop of water falls from rain, and where it falls? On the sand or on the desert, right? Where desert requires so much of water to make it fertile or to make it green. But just one drop, chulla sukh, very, very small. So, very, very little bit, just little bit of sukh is there. Like, usually people they go for eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Or how much sukh is there? Because it comes a bit and after that it goes away. It's temporary. It's very, very temporary. Chulla sukh. Also Srila Rupa Goswami tells about chapala sukh. Chapala sukh labalagi re. Right? Chapal. It comes and it goes. The first of all it's very small and also it's very temporary. It remains for very less amount of time. Very less amount of time. In fact, sukha is just nothing but negation of material miseries. Right? When we want to get happiness from eating food, the food remains tasteful and the pleasure comes so long hunger is there. Hunger itself is a misery. Right? Hunger itself is one of the weep of material nature. The pipasa, the thirst, the hunger, all these things are miseries. When somebody tries to gratify or satisfy that, then only it's called sukh. Right? But actually it's nothing but negation of material miseries. So that's why as soon as the material miseries are over, one is satisfied with one material satisfaction, then that type of material pleasure is also over with that. And another material problem starts. Like suppose we had to take, I'm so much hungry, I have to take prasādam. Okay, prasādam is okay, we can take. But after having a full till neck prasādam, oh, I really have a lot of sukha from prasādam. Having a lot of. Then after that, another dukkha also immediately comes. Oh my God, I am feeling to sleep now. It's too much. I have to lay down. So another dukkha starts. I cannot just sit and read and chant. As soon as I chant, then immediately comes what? Chakshur militam yena. So there's another troubles comes. So to mitigate that trouble, we have to do another remedy, that we need to have another sukha, that's called nidra sukh. Right? Or what is the value of this sukh? Is this sukh imaginary sukh? Imaginary sukh, just like we see the sukha or the water in desert, it's not there. As soon as we get into nidra, practically there is no sukh in nidra. Is there a sukh? Do you feel that sukh? We are all together in different world. We don't know whether sukh is there or dukh is there. Simply oblivion of the sukh conception itself. So the fourth one comes that it gives little happiness, but to get that happiness required so much of trouble. Right? So much of trouble. Just get little happiness, we require so much of trouble. So much of, like, people in the world, they work around 12 hours, 14 hours to get little bit of money so that they could go and do shopping in the evening, maybe in the weekends. So that much sukh is there. But for what? For that, how much trouble they have to take? Day in, day out they have to do work. And also Saturday, Sunday also, whatever little time comes, and they have to just finish their work. So sukha is there very, very little. And that too also temporary. That's negation of material miseries. But to get that required so much of trouble. Srila Maitreya Rishi telling Vidurji in Srimad Bhagavatam that I am going to give you real sukh, real ananda. Vidurji. Soham nirnam chulla sukhaya dukkham, chulla sukhaya. For little bit sukh, people they are working so much hard. Dukkham. They are getting so much dukkha to get little bit sukh. Mahadgatanam viramayatasya. Mahadgatanam, they go very long way to get little happiness. Like we know that people they go for doing different types of visits, like Thailand, Malaysia. Long, big travel going there and enjoying sense gratification. And immediately there comes the earthquake. And there all the problems, all the pleasure have gone, finished. Chulla sukh. Mahadgatana viramayatasa pravartaya bhagavatam puranam. So for these kind of people, those who are just have no option than this, because people they do not have any option other than jara sukh, jaranand. Is there any other option? No. Brahmanand hardly people take care of. Who take care of Brahmanand? They have only access to material world. We have only access to, very easily access to chulla sukh, jada sukh, visayir sukh. So Srila Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidurji that I am going to tell you Bhagavatam Puranam. Yada Sakshad Bhagavan Rishibhya, that Bhagavan Puran which is told by Supreme Lord himself, Bhagavan Rishi, Srila Vyasadeva. So that is real happiness, real pleasure in Srimad Bhagavatam, glorifying the Supreme Lord and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are so fortunate that we have plenty of options to get attached with Bhagavat Sukh, Bhagavat Ananda. Every day coming to Srimad Bhagavatam classes, chanting the holy name, getting up early in the morning, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are amongst those, one of the trillionth of jivas who has got this opportunity to get that real sukh, real ananda. Visayir ananda when we compare to Brahmananda, Srila Rupa Goswami tells that the people, those who are get Brahmananda, there are very less number of people in this world. That too, those who get Brahmananda. So they do what? They spit upon all this material pleasure. For the Brahmanandis, not for the devotees I am talking about. Tvat paramesthya-adikananda samudayanam. So whatever pleasure is available in this world is starting from the pleasure of a most young, beautiful looking boy who has such a nice health. He has sovereignty over the whole planet. Whatever you want, you just get it just by not even phone. You just tell and somebody will phone and you'll get it. So that is the, like you can say, the basic sukh any living entity on the, any human being on the planet Earth they desire for. If we say for material sukh, I should be young always, I should have sovereignty throughout the whole planet, I should be healthy also, and whatever I want for sense gratification I should get it. So starting from here till the pleasure of Brahma. So this is paramestya adikan, and the paramestya means the abode of Lord Brahmaji. Upanishad tells that they describe, like we know, like we everything we measure in units, right? 1 kilogram, 2 kilogram of something. Similarly, Upanishad that describe Ananda also in unit. Can we measure Ananda in unit? Yes, they have made the unit. So what is the unit? The 1 unit of Ananda is something called the sukh of that person who is young, he is beautiful, is handsome, and he has good health, and he has sovereignty throughout the whole planet. Anything, everything is accessible to him. So that is like 1 unit of Ananda, which is accessible to the person those who are in Bhuloka. If you multiply 100 times to that Ananda, is the Ananda a Gandharva gets. If you multiply the 100 times with the Gandharvas, how much the pleasure, the Gandharva they get pleasure, then you will get to the pleasure of Pitras, Pitraloka, planetary system, people they stay. If you multiply that pleasure of what Pitraloka people they get, then it will count to the pleasure derived by those who are staying in Devaloka, and not the Devatas, but those who has reached that place by doing good karma activities. But if you multiply the 100 times to that karma devatas, then it will come to the main devatas there, the 33 devatas there. If you multiply 100 times to that pleasure of devatas, then you will get 1 unit pleasure of Lord Indra in the heavenly planet. If you multiply Indra's pleasure and happiness with 100, you will get just 1 unit of Brihaspati's happiness. If you multiply 100 times to Brihaspati's happiness, is just 1 unit of Prajapati's happiness. And if you multiply 100 times with Prajapati's happiness, is just 1 unit of Lord Brahma's happiness. So all the way from the pleasure of 1 unit of Bhuloka, that guy, and to Brahma, this all things for Brahmanandis, Srila Rupa Goswami tells, tvat-krita. They spit upon it. Tvat-krita paramesthya-adikananda samudayanam. So this is the comparison for Brahmanandis. So Brahmananda, we say that Brahman is nothing. But if we say really, Brahman is something for Brahmanandis, of course. So Visayra Ananda, the sense gratification people they do, and Seva Ananda is, like, it's like, as we see, the same thing. Bharat Maharaj, when he lives, he was enjoying that, right? He was a young man. He was having sovereignty throughout the whole planet. He was a healthy guy, and he leaves everything. Yo dustejan dara sutan surid rajyam hridhi sprishah jahu yuvaiva malavad uttama shloka lalasa. So Bharat Maharaj lives that all that pleasure, how? Malavat. As every day morning, people they go and they clear their bowl and they clear out how? They never even think about it, forget about seeing it. Malavat. So this all material pleasure, Bharat Maharaj left like Malavat. So we see this whole material pleasure is Malavat for Brahmanandis and also Malavat for Sevanandis, like Bharat Maharaj. So both are Malavat for both, like Brahmanandis also. But what is the difference between Brahmanandi and Sevanandis? That should be very, very clear. Otherwise you feel like, okay, same only, Sevanand, Brahmanand, same. No. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami tells, Brahmananda bhave desha chet parardha guni kritaha. Brahmananda bhave desha. If somebody enjoys Brahmananda for how many years? Chet parardha means for half lifetime of Brahma. Like 50 years of Brahmaji is called one parardha. We are into second parardha, second half of Lord Brahma. If somebody enjoys Brahmananda for one parardha, how much one parardha is? 133 trillion years. Brahmananda, you enjoy. Naiti bhakti sukham bhode paramanu tulamapi. If you compare that ananda with bhakti sukh, then it will not be even a small atom of that bhakti sukh. The whole Brahmananda enjoyed for one parardha, 133 trillion our years, humanly years. So now it's very, very clear. Like what is Sevananda, right? What is Sevananda? But do we really feel? Chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. For me, for my condition so like me, I immediately sleep. If I would have been getting that Sevananda, which is so celebrated, I would not have been slept, right? I was enjoying, ecstasy is coming, something would have come. But our condition is a little conditioned. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam. Comes when sufficiently Cheto darpana marjanam had accrued. Cheto darpana marjanam has taken place, right? So the first thing that takes place, that should be Cheto darpana marjanam, bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. Then the real Shreya means the auspiciousness of a jiva starts. Kairava chandrika vitaranam. Vidyavadhu jivanam. Then comes anandam buddhivardhanam. So that ananda is malavat. Then that ananda trivializes the Brahmananda and this Vishair ananda. So then one gets that. When one gets that, then Brahmananda just throws like anything. There are testimony of a great impersonalist from Varanasi. His name was Madhusudan Saraswati. I think some of you know. So he was a great, Mayavadi impersonalist from Sankara school. And he used to get a lot of pleasure defeating so many different scholars in his Shastrartha. So some people told that you should go sometimes explore Vrindavan also. So Madhusudan Saraswati, he went to Vrindavan and there he met with one devotee and he told, Madhusudan Saraswati, you are so nice, so great person that you defeat so many pandits and scholars and you get a lot of happiness. What is that happiness? What is that ananda? So you are defeating, you are a Brahman, right? For impersonalists, everything is Brahman. Sarvam khalu idam Brahman, right? Everything is Brahman. So you are one Brahman, you defeat another Brahman. Both of you are same, right? You claim yourself. So how you get pleasure by defeating your own self? Can you please tell? And what type of ananda is this? Is this Brahmananda to defeat? I don't think so. It is just pleasure coming out from false ego getting puffed up. So he was like ashamed. He was feeling, really, these bhaktas are really into some great thing, great happiness than we how much we get. So then he got Krishna mantra, and then he became very stalwart devotee. And once somebody asked him that, please tell what is tattva. I was hearing this from His Holiness Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj, this story. Maharaj has recited it very sweetly. So this is story Maharaj was telling. So he asked, somebody asked that, please tell what is tattva. Please tell us, describe us what is tattva. Then Madhusudan Saraswati tells, Vansi vibhushita karan aniradabhat pitambara daruna bimba faladharoshtat. He describes about Supreme Lord Krishna. Vansi vibhushit kara, whose hand is decorated with vansi, the flute. And navaniradabhat, and his bodily effulgence is like newly arisen cloud. Navanirad. Nirad means cloud, and Navanirad means new cloud. Like now, yesterday we had so much of downpour, the whole Mayapur was flooded. I was coming from outside from Mayapur. I was thinking, I think you have to swim out, reaching ashram. So, the new cloud. So, what is the color of the new cloud? Of course, Lord's color is not like anything material, it's spiritual. So, Navanirad pitambarad aruna bimb faladharoshtat. And he has wore pitambar, the yellow garment, and his lips are like bimba fruits. So, Purnendu Sundar Mukhad Arvinda Netrat. Purnendu Sundar. Purnendu means the full moon. How that full moon looks. Looks nice, right? Especially in the God Purnima day, rising from the eastern horizon. Purnendu Sundar Mukharavind Netrat. Krishnat Param Kimapi Tvam Aham Na Jane. I don't know any truth higher than this Krishna, who is so beautiful. His face is just like Purnendu, means the full moon. Netrat are just like lotus petals. So these are the testimonies, and there are many. Specifically, we see from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatusku Maharaj, Srila Shukdev Goswami, they were all Brahmanandis. So Prahlad himself says to Lord Narayana, it's recorded in Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, tvat sakshat karna ahlada vishuddhabdi sitasya me sukhani gosapadayante brahmani api jagadguru. So, hey Jagadguru, your service, tvat sakshat karna ahlada, by your seeing you, this so much of pleasure I get that the whole other pleasure, even though pleasure of moksha, is just like the water, as much water it is put into the calf's hoof print in the rainy season. Anyway, even those devotees, if we compare the sadhaka devotees and the sadhaka brahmavadis, the devotees enjoy more, right? They have so many types of mahaprasadam to take. They can take it, just like that. This is pizza, and this is pasta, and this is paratha, and this is chutney. And they enjoy it. This is also a seva, a sukh, right? This is one of the service, accepting Mahaprasadam, one of the 64 limbs of devotional service given by Srila Rupa Goswami, right? But if you give prasadam or the food to impersonalists, they say, oh, don't do so much sense gratification. It's a maya, it's maya, it's maya. They cannot even enjoy that, right? And the whole life is dry, right? Srila Prabhupada, when he was in early days in New York City, Prabhupada was just moving from here and there, trying to search out venues to preach, different places, sometimes in churches, sometimes in clubs. He used to go and give Bhagavad Katha, Bhagavad class and Srimad and Hari Nam Kirtan. So once he met with one Jnani yogi, his name was Dr. Mishra. If his devotees have read Lilamrita, they know it. So Dr. Mishra, they had this type of, they were also like that, and his associates. So once Dr. Mishra was not there, and his name was, the place of name was Anand Ashram. where one gets ananda. And Srila Prabhupada was going there, and sometimes just once in a week he used to go there. And there, some people of, some students of Dr. Mishra were very much fascinated towards Srila Prabhupada. Some of them were keeping some distance. Okay, so these are bhaktas and we are maybe a little higher than them. So some of them started coming to Srila Prabhupada, slowly getting attracted. And some of them, they told that, Swamiji, why don't we do Harinam Sankirtan in Ananda Ashram? Yes, let's go, let's do Harinam Sankirtan. So once Srila Prabhupada, they started Harinam Sankirtan. So when Harinam Sankirtan started, then some of those were had got little acquaintance with Srila Prabhupada, they started chanting and dancing. And some of them, those were feeling like we are superior, we are really Ananda, Brahmananda we are going to get. So they were keeping some distance. But after some number of minutes, everybody, they also started laughing, chanting and dancing. And they really understood that day that real Ananda is here. Where? Shravanam and Kirtanam, right? With the devotees association. And even Srila Prabhupada himself used to cook food for himself as well as that Dr. Mishra. His health was always not so good. So real Ananda is there in Shravanam and Kirtanam. Fragrance of that real, the Suddha Bhakti, the Prema Bhakti, the fragrance of Bhakti only negates all the different types of sukhas. Bhakti, Mukti, Suddhi, Sukha, Chhadaye, Jara, Gandhe, Alaukika, Sakti, Gune, Krishna, Kripa, Bandhe. So Krishna Kripa, the mercy of Krishna is this, that somebody gets the opportunity to perform Shravanam and Kirtanam. That's the real mercy. And just one small fragrance of that can make anybody forget the sukh of bhukti and sukh of mukti and siddhi and all. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells to Srila Sanatana Goswami, Guna sabder artha Krishner gunayananta sachidarupa guna sarva purananda Aishwarya madhurya karunya sarupa purnata bhakta matsalya atma paryanta vadanyata. So Aishwarya, Madhurya, these are the qualities of the Lord. Madhurya, Aishwarya, the opulences, 6 opulences of the Lord. Different sweetness, the 4 super excellent sweetness of the Lord. Karunya, the magnanimity of the Lord. Sarupa, his feature. Purnata, everything is perfect. And when devotees come to chant and glorify the Lord, Shravanam and Kirtanam, that leads to Smaranam, remembrance of the Lord. And then they forget all other sukha. Right? Supposed to. Right? So, Alaukika rupa rasa saurabhadi guna karamana kona gune kare akarsana. Alaukika rupa, Lord's form is so alaukik. As devotees also they decorate Radha Madhava. So alaukik. Rupa rasa saurabhadi guna. Karamana kona gune kare akarsana. Somebody is getting attracted by somebody gets attracted by form of the Lord, somebody gets attracted by the fragrance of the Lord, the tulasi offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. Especially Sanakadis, the Chatuskumaras, they were attracted by the tulasi, the fragrance of tulasi which is offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. Yasyaravindanena sapadaravinda kinjal kamishra tulasi makaranda vayu antagatena savirena chakarate sam sanchobam aksarajusam api chitta tanvo. So Lord have varieties of features by which he attracts the mind of Srila Sukadeva Goswami attracted by Leela Kirtan. Right? Yes? Srila Sukadeva Goswami gets attracted by Leela Kirtan. Vyasadeva, he thought that my sons would come back. So he somehow or other made arrangement that some of his disciples, they were in the jungle and they were describing the beautiful pastimes of the Lord. And by hearing this, Sukadeva Goswami, he was merged into Brahman, Nargunyapi. So he also get attracted. And so much of pleasure it brought, pleasure like this. So that he just left everything and came back. Oh, I want to hear more about this Srimad Bhagavatam. The hearing and chanting about Krishna fills with rasa, brings immense happiness. Because for Brahmanandis, what is rasa? You cannot reciprocate with your own self, right? Even to get the pleasure of false ego by defeating someone, you need two people, right? So what is the rasa? That real happiness is rasa, rasa-jñāḥ. So devotees are rasa-jñāḥ, the rasiks. They know how to reciprocate. The 12 types of rasas, mainly 5 rasas. So, macchitta bandhagata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tusyanti cha and ramanti cha. They ramanti. This is what their business is. Ramanti cha, they derive a lot of pleasure from glorifying the Supreme Lord, His wonderful features, His opulences, His madhurya, His different dealings with His loving devotees. But if leaving that somebody takes the impersonal path or the path of sense gratification, that will become suicidal. That will become suicidal for them. So, Lord has given us in the form of Srila Vyasadeva, He is Bhagavan Rishihi, this most beautiful pastimes of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. For what purpose? To negate this all material pleasures and just embrace the spiritual transcendental pleasure of hearing and chanting the holy name. And it is simply filled with pleasure. And let's stop reciting this particular sloka, very beautiful sloka from 12th canto, 12th chapter, 5th sloka. Tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam tadeva shasvan manaso mahotsavam tadeva shokar navashoshanam nirnam yaduttama shloka yashonu giyate. So, the words describing the glories of all famous Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yasho Anugiyate, what it creates? It becomes so attractive for the devotees' ears and hearts, relisable and ever fresh. Tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam. Indeed, such words are perpetual festivals. Manaso mahotsavam for the mind, and they dry up the ocean of miseries. Tadeva shokar nava shoshanam nirnam. So, for the devotees, it's appeal from Srila Prabhupada and all acharyas. So, they should take that amrita, that ananda from Shravanam and Kirtan, wonderful pastimes, Nama Rupa Guna Lila of the Supreme Lord, in association of like-minded devotees, and they should release themselves. Taste yourself and give taste to others. That's what is preaching, right? You taste something and you give to some. This mango is so tasteful. You can also take like that. Srimad Bhagavatarthanam asvado rasikai-saḥ. In association of rasika devotees, one should taste the different varieties of meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam slokas. Sadātiyāsasa signadda singde sādhav sangha satovare. So this is the way to get that pleasure of Shravanam and Kirtanam in association of devotees. So with such words, I like to take a pause, and just 1 more minute is left to 9. Any comment, any question, if it's there, any correction? Hare Krishna. It's not there. Thank you. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srila Prabhupada